The day has been long and the mind carries small embers of worry that refuse to cool. Footsteps from earlier still echo in memory. Tasks unfinished linger like distant lanterns, and somewhere inside there is a quiet longing for a light that does not fade, a steady flame that does not flicker when the night grows deep. In a town of old stone and olive shade a story is remembered, a gathering of 10 maidens who carried lamps into the dusk, some with oil kept close, some with jars nearly empty, all waiting for the voice that would break the silence. This is a story about readiness of heart, about the gentle discipline of keeping a flame alive, about the soft wisdom of preparing for a moment before it arrives. This is a night story, a bedside story, a lamp by the window story, where patience becomes prayer and watchfulness becomes peace. Take a slow, deep breath. Let the shoulders loosen, let the jaw soften, let the space behind the eyes grow calm. Let the breath arrive, and then leave, like a tide that loves the shore. Let the hands uncurl, let the back settle into support, let the brow grow smooth. Let the breath lengthen, in and out, with no effort, no forcing, only kindness. If these stories bring you peace, take a moment to like this video. Subscribe for more nightly reflections, and share where you're listening from tonight. Your words and presence help keep this space warm and growing. Now, take another slow breath. Let's begin. Evening gathers like a blue shawl over the hills. Lamps are trimmed, clay wicks touched with flame. The air holds a faint sweetness of pressed olives and dust. Crickets mark the hours with gentle rhythm. 10 maidens step into the lane where the bridegroom will pass, garments brushing stone, sandals whispering over the path, laughter quieting into expectation, a hush that feels holy. Some carry flasks with oil held close to the heart, oil that remembers the labor of the day and the foresight of love, oil that says the moment may tarry but it will not be missed. Others have lamps but little store. Their light is beautiful yet thin, their wicks bright but fragile, a glow that leans into the breeze and trembles. A remembered line moves like a soft wind through the soul. The wise keep their lamps ready, for the bridegroom may come at a time not expected. Not a warning of fear, a whisper of care, an invitation to guard a small faithful flame within, to tend it with quiet choices and daily grace. In the hush of this night the lane becomes a sanctuary, and the waiting itself becomes a prayer, each breath a small trimming of the heart, each pause a gentle refilling. The promise is not pressure, the promise is presence. When the good comes near, the ones who are ready find their peace deepened, the ones whose hearts prepared in love feel known and at rest. The listening grows simple, a cicada, a distant dog, the almost silent lick of fire against wick, the sky growing darker and kinder. The wise keep watch without hurry. They do not stare at the road until their eyes burn. They do not count minutes and grow hard. They settle into a trust that is soft and steady. Readiness is not panic. Readiness is patient joy, a lamp trimmed, a jar near, a heart that says yes before the knock is heard. The foolish are not despised in this story. They are simply unready. Their peace rises and falls with the wind. Their glow depends upon what can be borrowed at the last moment, and the night is too deep for borrowed light. The promise of peace enters like lamplight under a door, warm, ordinary, faithful. The holy does not ask for brilliance, only watchfulness, not endless striving, only a steady flame, not applause, only a heart awake. The weary are seen, the uncertain are loved, the silent are held, the ones who carry small flames with trembling hands are honored. for the small flame still shines and the night has always been moved by small faithful light. In this story, the bridegroom arrives and those whose lamps are ready enter the joy, not because they ran faster, but because they tended the quiet things, the unseen things, the inner oil of prayer and kindness and truth. This is the gift offered tonight, a readiness that is rest, a vigilance that is gentle, a peace that does not depend on noise or news, only on the slow tending of the inner lamp. Breathe again, in and out, calmly, kindly. Let the chest rise and fall like a boat on evening water. Let the eyelids grow heavy, not from escape, from trust. Let the breath move through the body like oil, smoothing, softening, steadying. Let the heart become a lamp, trimmed, quiet, luminous, unafraid. The lane is still, the lamps of the wise curve like small moons along the path, the olive leaves lift and settle in a tender breeze, and the night is a friend that teaches waiting. Somewhere a cry will come, somewhere a footfall will sound, but for now the lesson is gentle. Keep the lamp, keep the oil, keep the heart awake in love. The stars lean close as if to listen, the stones by the roadside remember every step, and the sky holds a deep blue silence where hope is safe to breathe. In this calm, in this readiness, the soul rests without dropping the flame, the mind loosens its worry without leaving the watch, the body. Night settles deeper over the quiet hills, a slow veil of indigo wrapping every roof, every olive branch, every watchful heart. The air carries the scent of cooling earth, and the faint oil of lamps still burning. The 10 virgins remain in the lane, their eyes tracing the horizon where the road bends toward mystery. The bridegroom is delayed, and in the silence between heartbeats, faith is tested not by thunder, but by stillness. Some sit close together, whispering small prayers to keep sleep away. Others lean against the stones, their lamps trembling in tired hands. The wise lift their jars, feeling the steady weight of oil within, grateful for what they prepared before the darkness came. Their lamps glow with calm persistence, flames that move like breathing itself, gentle and sure. A hush gathers like fog, not frightening, only deep. In the house beyond the olive grove, musicians rest their instruments, the flutes wrapped in linen, the drums turned on their sides. The bridegroom's arrival is promised, yet his footsteps are not yet heard. The wise know that delay is not denial, that waiting is not abandonment. The foolish begin to fidget, eyes darting between one another, anxious laughter breaking the still air. Their oil runs low, the wicks hiss, the light sputters like the voice of one losing faith. Take another deep breath. Let the air move softly through you. Let the spine lengthen, as if heaven were gently drawing you upward. Now release. Let the weight fall into the bed, or the chair, wherever you rest tonight. Let each breath become a soft prayer of readiness. Not striving, not worry, just gentle waiting. The night grows heavier. Stars emerge like witnesses of patience. The moon slides behind a drifting cloud, then returns, pale and faithful. Shadows deepen, but they do not threaten. They only remind the heart that light still exists beyond what can be seen. In the silence, the wise keep tending their lamps. Small movements of care, a trimming of the wick, a slow pour of oil, the rhythm of devotion that asks for nothing in return. The foolish glance at the wise, seeing the steady glow that outlasts the wind. Share with us, their eyes seem to say. But even kindness cannot create what preparation sustains. The oil of one cannot fill the lamp of another without dimming both. The wise answer with quiet eyes. Not cruelty, not scorn, only the truth that readiness is personal, that each flame must be kept by its own heart. A long pause hangs between them, heavy, sacred. And in that silence the story begins to mirror our own waiting. The waiting for answers, for healing, for meaning, for peace. Sometimes the promise seems slow, the prayer unanswered, the hope distant. But every breath of patience refills the lamp. Every act of quiet faith is oil stored unseen. Every moment we choose gentleness instead of fear, readiness instead of restlessness. We keep the flame alive. The wise close their eyes and breathe, their faces soft in lamplight, their hearts whispering prayers that have no words. The foolish pace the road, the dust rising around their feet, their lamps now shadows in the dark. The night deepens to its thickest blue, and time folds inward like a wave returning to the sea. Somewhere far beyond, perhaps just around the bend, footsteps begin. Not loud, not hurried, just sure. The air seems to tremble with anticipation. The stars hold their breath. The lamps of the wise glow brighter, not from more oil, but from the nearness of fulfillment. The foolish run into the darkness to search for oil they should have kept, chasing what cannot be borrowed in a moment. Breathe again. Steady, calm, patient. The story is not about punishment. It is about preparation. It is about the peace that grows from readiness, the light that endures delay. In every heart there is a lamp, and in every soul, a jar of oil waiting to be tended. Tonight, let readiness be rest. Let waiting be peace. Let the night be a friend, not an enemy. The path is still lit by small faithful flames, and heaven watches quietly as the lesson unfolds. The oil burns slow, the hearts beat steady, and somewhere in the distance, the promise begins to move closer. The stars drift quietly across the velvet sky, slow travelers through the stillness. The olive trees whisper in the breeze, their silver leaves catching hints of lamplight like tiny sparks of hope. The night feels timeless, stretching between the waiting and the coming, between the quiet breath of earth and the unseen footsteps of heaven. The 10 virgins remain in the lane, the wise settled in calm, the foolish restless in their worry. The air holds a rhythm, soft, steady, like the pulse of expectation itself. The lamps of the wise burn with unwavering peace, their light a hymn without words, each flame reflecting the faith that prepared before darkness fell. The foolish glance toward the horizon, desperate for movement, anxious for sound. The wise rest within the silence, for they have learned that the silence is not empty. It is full of promise. In the hush of waiting, they find that readiness is not an action. It is a posture of the soul. Take a slow breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Let the lungs fill. Let the shoulders rise and then fall. Let the breath return to its gentle rhythm, smooth and unhurried. The waiting heart softens with each exhale. The anxious thought drifts away like smoke. The lamps flicker gently, flames mirrored in the eyes of those who watch. For the wise, the oil is not only in their jars, it is in their hearts, in their patience, in the way they trust the unseen. They remember that the oil was gathered drop by drop. Each act of faith, each quiet moment of kindness, each time they listened for the voice of love instead of fear. That is how readiness is born. Not in grand gestures, but in the slow accumulation of light within. The foolish rise and hurry down the path, their lamps now dark, the emptiness of their jars echoing the emptiness in their hearts. They seek oil where none can be borrowed at this hour. They run from door to door, knocking, calling into the night, hoping someone will share what cannot be given at the last moment. The night watches with quiet sorrow, not in anger, only in truth. The wise stay where they are, not because they do not care, but because they understand that light cannot be carried for another. It must be kindled within. They whisper prayers for those who run, their hearts aching but at peace. The darkness grows thicker now, deep blue fading to velvet black. The stars shimmer like promises kept, old and bright. The road before them gleams faintly in the lamplight, winding through shadow and stone. The air hums with expectancy, as if the world itself is holding its breath. A small bird stirs in a nearby fig tree, its feathers rustling softly, a hint that dawn is not far. But before the sun rises, another light will come. The promise will arrive not in daylight, but in the middle of night. The wise hold their lamps close, their fingers warm against the clay. their hearts beating in time with the slow dance of the flame. They whisper within, "Let my lamp stay lit. Let my soul stay awake." For they know that the bridegroom's coming is not about fear or surprise. It is about recognition. When he comes, those who carry light within will know him not by sight, but by presence. They will feel peace before they see his face, joy before they hear his voice. The waiting will dissolve into fulfillment, and the long night will turn to morning without warning. Let the breath grow softer now, in and out. Let the stillness around you become a comfort, not a test. Waiting is holy. Stillness is sacred. In every delay, there is an unseen preparation, both for the moment to come and for the heart that must receive it. The foolish still search in the dark, their footsteps fading into distance. The wise remain in the lane, their lamps steady, their hearts full of quiet hope. And somewhere beyond the horizon, the sound of footsteps begins to form, faint, rhythmic, nearing with purpose. The air shifts. A wind carries the first scent of dawn, a promise in motion. The time is near, and those who have tended their lamps feel it deep within. The road lies silver under the moonlight, quiet, waiting, alive with the breath of unseen promise. The wise virgins sit beneath the olive trees, their lamps glowing softly at their feet, light pooling around them like halos on the dust. Their faces are calm, eyes half closed, listening not for noise but for presence. Far away, the foolish move through the sleeping town, knocking on closed doors, whispering to merchants in the dark, searching for oil that cannot be found at this hour. Their footsteps echo faintly across the valley, growing fainter with each plea unanswered. The oil they seek was never simply bought. It was gathered slowly, through faith and intention, through moments when no one was watching. The night deepens until even the crickets grow silent. The air cools. The stars lean closer, and the lamps of the wise shine brighter against the vast quiet. The world feels suspended between one heartbeat and the next. Somewhere, a wind stirs, gentle but sure, carrying with it the faint sound of movement, like sandals brushing the road, like the rustle of a procession approaching from afar. Take a breath now, slow and full. Let the air move through you, gentle as the breeze among the trees. Let the chest rise and fall, soft as lamplight flickering in the dark. Each breath is a flame tended, each exhale a quiet act of trust. In the distance, the sound grows clearer, a murmur of voices, the faint rhythm of feet on stone. The wise lift their heads, hearts steady, lamps trimmed. They have waited long, but not in vain. Their hands do not tremble, for their waiting has become a prayer. Their stillness has become strength. The foolish are gone, chasing oil, chasing light, while the bridegroom draws near to those who never left the path. The moment feels endless, a pause before joy, a breath before dawn. The air itself seems to glow, not from moonlight, but from expectation. The wise look toward the bend in the road, and there, beneath the pale shimmer of the stars, the first glimmer of the bridegroom's lantern appears. The cry breaks through the night, gentle but full of power. Behold, the bridegroom comes. It moves like thunder wrapped in silk, like a wave through still water. The sound carries through every leaf, every stone, every heart still awake. The wise rise slowly, gathering their lamps, hearts quickened but peaceful. Their light reflects in their eyes, as if heaven itself has been mirrored within them. Those who prepared now walk with purpose, their path glowing before them like a river of fireflies. Each flame sways with the rhythm of their steps, light moving through the night like a song without words. The air trembles with awe. The olive branches bow. The stars seem to bend closer to witness what unfolds. And still, this is not a story of reward or punishment. It is a story of love meeting readiness, of promise finding its reflection in patience. The bridegroom's voice carries no rebuke, only recognition. He comes for those who have waited in trust, whose light endured because their hearts were anchored in hope. Breathe again, softly, deeply. Feel the warmth of your own inner flame, small but steadfast. It does not need to burn bright. It only needs to remain. That light within you is the same light that guided the wise, the same flame that faith tends quietly through the longest night. The bridegroom draws closer, the sound of his steps steady and sure. The wise lift their lamps higher, their glow falling across the path ahead. And somewhere beyond the veil of darkness, music begins, faint and heavenly, like a door opening in the heart of the world. The story slows here, holding breath with the night itself. The wise are ready, the foolish still far away, and the promise now stands just beyond reach, shimmering in the air like dawn waiting to break. The air trembles softly, as if creation itself holds its breath. The olive branches sway with reverence, the night bending toward a sacred arrival. The lamps of the wise burn steady, their light touching faces calm with faith. Around them the silence deepens, not empty, but full of holy expectancy. The road ahead glows faintly with the shimmer of approaching light. Far off, the murmur of voices, the whisper of feet against stone, the sound of joy carried on the wind. The bridegroom is near. The long night is about to open like a blossom before dawn. Take a slow, unhurried breath. Feel the air draw in through the nose and flow out gently through parted lips. Let the body settle, shoulders heavy with release, the heart beating quietly in rhythm with the calm around you. Let the stillness become a friend, not a silence to fear, but a peace that steadies. The wise stand along the path, their lamps bright and unwavering. Each flame moves like a living prayer, a small echo of eternal light. The foolish return from their hurried search, their jars clutched tight, but the night has moved on. They see the glow ahead, the laughter carried faintly on the breeze, but the path is no longer theirs to follow. It was never about possession of oil alone, it was about the shaping of the heart in the waiting. The bridegroom's light shines brighter now, illuminating the stones underfoot, painting the road in soft gold. The wise step forward, slow, reverent, the lamps in their hands trembling not with fear but with awe. Their faces reflect joy that is deeper than words, the joy of promises kept, of faith fulfilled in stillness. The bridegroom's voice is kind, not loud, it carries warmth that seems to melt the night itself. Those who waited are invited in. A doorway of light opens before them, warm and welcoming, like a hearth at the end of a long winter journey. Inside, music flows gentle as water, laughter soft as candlelight. The wise cross the threshold, their lamps joining the greater glow of celebration. The foolish arrive soon after, hearts pounding, lamps newly lit but too late. They call out, knock, plead. But the door has closed, not in cruelty, in completion. For this moment belongs to those whose hearts were ready when the call was made. Readiness cannot be rushed in the final hour, it grows like a seed tended day by day. Take another breath, slow and calm. Let the thoughts sink in like rain into soil. Preparation is peace. Faithfulness is rest. The waiting that once felt heavy becomes light when filled with trust. The wise now rest in the glow of the bridegroom's presence. Their lamps flicker in rhythm with the music of joy, their hearts at ease. The foolish stand outside in the cool air, listening to the faint sound of celebration beyond the door. And yet even now, grace is near. For the story is not to shame, it is to teach the soul how to wait well. To show that the light within must be kept not for one night, but for all nights. The parable breathes its truth like a lullaby. Keep the oil, tend the flame, live ready but not restless. For the coming of peace is not a single moment, it is every moment you choose to stay awake in love. Breathe again, gently. Feel the warmth of readiness within you, soft and enduring. The night hums with quiet wonder, the stars shimmer above the olive trees, and the road lies still once more. Those who entered rest in light. Those who wait still have time to tend their flame. The night has grown quiet again, as if the world exhales after joy. The echoes of the bridegroom's procession fading into the soft pulse of distant song. The olive trees no longer move. Their leaves glint like silver coins under a sleeping moon. The wise sit just beyond the gate now, their lamps steady beside them. their faces calm in the afterglow of fulfillment. Inside, laughter and music drift through the open windows, low and tender, like the sound of peace breathing. But the story does not end here. For what lingers is not the feast, but the lesson that waits in the stillness. The parable's flame continues to burn, not to warn, but to remind. The oil of readiness is not something we hold once and forget. It must be refilled each day, drop by drop, through love, humility, patience. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it travel through you like gentle oil, smoothing every restless thought. Let the air fill the chest and spill outward as warmth. Let the breath remind you, readiness begins with rest, not strain. Each inhale gathers light. Each exhale releases fear. The foolish stand beyond the door, their voices softened by distance, their regret heavy but not hopeless. For even now, the heart can learn what the moment taught too late. The oil they lacked was never merely for lamps. It was the oil of devotion, the quiet faith that gathers unseen in everyday acts of love. It is the oil of forgiveness given freely, of kindness offered without expectation, of prayer whispered when no one listens. The wise within the gate do not forget their sisters beyond it. They do not gloat. They grieve gently, their compassion glowing as steady as their lamps. For the kingdom of heaven is not built on pride but on mercy, and even lessons born from sorrow can still be redeemed by grace. They know that the bridegroom's coming was not the end of waiting, but the beginning of eternal watchfulness, an inner readiness that never sleeps. A soft wind moves again through the garden, carrying the fragrance of pressed olives and the faint hum of night insects. The stars look down like silent witnesses to the mystery of readiness. The lamps flicker, their glow touching the faces of the wise, painting them with peace that cannot be taken. Another breath now, slow, gentle, quiet. Let the lungs feel like vessels being refilled with light. Let the release be long, smooth, surrendering every care into stillness. This breath, this stillness, this patience, is the oil the story speaks of. Faith is not proven in sudden moments. It is shaped in ordinary waiting. It grows in the unseen corners of daily life, where no applause is heard. It gathers strength in the silence between answered prayers. It glows not in brightness, but in endurance. The bridegroom's coming symbolizes more than an event. It is the rhythm of every soul that learns to wait with love. Every moment we choose kindness instead of fear, forgiveness instead of resentment, trust instead of control. We refill the lamp. Every quiet act of faith becomes oil for the journey. And even when the door seems closed, Grace builds another gate in the heart. The wise breathe easily now, their lamps casting circles of gold upon the ground. The foolish watch from afar, their eyes reflecting both sorrow and awakening. And in the sacred pause between what was and what will be, the story begins to turn inward, from parable to prayer. Take another breath. Soft. Deliberate. Trusting. Let the night surround you like a warm cloak. Let peace wrap itself around every thought. Feel the quiet readiness growing in you. Not a command, a comfort. The oil you need is already within reach. In the gentle rhythm of your faith, in the love that waits without impatience. The world sleeps, heaven listens, and the lamps of the faithful burn steady in the long night. Their light does not boast, it simply remains. And in that simple remaining, the heart finds its rest. The garden lies in deep stillness now, the sounds of the feast softened to a distant murmur, a lullaby drifting through open doors. The wise rest near the threshold, their lamps still burning, a gentle halo over their quiet faces. The foolish linger in the shadowed road, their lamps dim again, the oil they found too late, their hearts heavy with the echo of what might have been. And yet the night does not condemn, it comforts. The stars do not judge, they simply shine. The door does not sneer, it stands as a mirror, showing each heart what it has chosen to keep alight. The parable breathes through the silence, slow, tender, full of mercy. This is not the story of exclusion. It is the story of awareness. A reminder that love itself asks us to stay awake, not in fear, but in presence. For the soul that is watchful, even in the dark, is already near the light. Take a breath, soft and deep. Let the air move gently into the chest, expanding without effort. Hold it for a moment, then let it flow out slowly, like oil pouring from a jar. Let the stillness after the exhale be wide, peaceful, sacred. The door of the heart is like this night, half open, half asleep. Within it lies a choice, to drift into forgetfulness, or to tend the flame that quietly waits for the beloved. The wise understood that watchfulness is not anxiety, it is affection. It is the posture of love that stays awake simply because it cannot bear to miss the presence it adores. Outside, the foolish sit beneath the fig tree, tears mingling with the dust on their hands. They begin to understand, not with their minds, but with their hearts. The delay had not been cruelty. It had been invitation. A space wide enough for preparation, for love to deepen, for faith to take root. The wise inside the house lift their eyes to the soft glow of the lamps above, and in the quiet hum of the celebration, they pray for those still learning what light means. The bridegroom, radiant and kind, moves among them, his joy a light that fills every shadow. His gaze carries no reproach, only knowing. He sees both those within and those without, and his love reaches beyond the closed door. Breathe again, slowly, kindly. Let each breath feel like the gentle turning of a lamp's flame. The oil within is peace. The wick is faith. The breath is the spark that keeps them alive. You are tending your own lamp now, in this quiet moment. The parable is no longer about them. It is about you, about every soul who waits through darkness for a light that is sure to come. To stay ready is to stay soft, to keep the heart open, even when silence stretches long. The world teaches urgency, but heaven teaches readiness through peace. The wise did not rush. They rested in trust. In every delay, in every unanswered prayer, the same lesson whispers, keep the lamp trimmed. Keep love alive. Let patience be your oil. Let gratitude be your flame. And when the moment arrives, it will not catch you unprepared. It will find you already shining. The stars above the garden glimmer like scattered promises. The bridegroom's laughter mingles with the night air, the sound of joy pure as wind through cypress trees. And even outside the gate, the foolish begin to feel something new, a quiet stirring of grace, a small spark returning to their hearts. The story is turning toward mercy now. The closed door will not be the last door. For in every ending, heaven writes an opening. And readiness, once learned, becomes rest that cannot be lost. Take one more slow breath. Feel it expand through the ribs, rise to the collarbones, and release with gentle warmth. This is how the lamp stays lit. Through awareness, through peace, through love that does not sleep. The night is softer now, the weight of the feast settling into a hush of contentment, the echoes of laughter fading into the hum of lamps and crickets. The air carries warmth from within the house and coolness from the open sky, blending into a perfect quiet balance. The wise sit near the doorway still, their lamps low but steady, their faces serene, bathed in the golden afterglow of faith fulfilled. Inside, the bridegroom's joy fills every space like perfume poured from alabaster. Outside, the foolish linger, heads bowed, hearts beginning to understand that love's lessons are never wasted. They have not been cast away, only called to learn the slow art of tending the inner flame. The scene becomes still again, and the story widens beyond the moment. This is no longer a wedding night in ancient streets. It is the night of every soul that waits for light. The 10 virgins become the heart itself, divided between the parts that are prepared and the parts that forget. The wise are not separate people. They are the quiet places within you that keep believing even when the answers delay. The foolish are not condemned. They are the restless corners of your heart still learning to trust. Take a deep, gentle breath. Let the lungs fill with peace, like lamps refilled with oil. Exhale slowly, letting the air leave like a wave withdrawing from the shore. With every breath, you are trimming your own wick, making room for light to stay. Faith burns best in stillness, not in noise. It glows most brightly when all else grows dim. The wise knew this. Their patience not born of strength but surrender. They did not force time to move. They rested in it, and the waiting itself became holy. Their lamps were their prayers. Their oil was their love. Their light was the quiet certainty that they were seen. Every moment they stayed awake in trust. They grew closer to the bridegroom without moving a single step. For watchfulness is not watching the road. It is guarding the heart's flame. And readiness is not about predicting when, but about staying present until. Outside, the foolish begin to weep, but the weeping is cleansing. They realize their journey is not over. The door may be closed for now, but the invitation to readiness never ends. They hold their empty lamps close, feeling their weight, remembering the peace they once took lightly. A vow stirs within them, a vow to begin again, to tend the flame more carefully next time. Another breath, slow and forgiving. Let the shoulders fall. Let the back soften into rest. Let the breath carry a message to the heart. There is still time to shine. The light you once lost can always be rekindled. The wise inside the hall sing softly, not of triumph but of gratitude. They know they were no stronger, only more mindful. They remember the long night, the ache of waiting, the whisper of doubt that came and went like the wind. And they bless even the silence, for it was the silence that made their faith deep enough to last the dark. Outside, the stars remain, countless, patient, steady. The same stars that watched over the wise now shine upon the foolish too. Grace does not choose where to fall. It simply falls. Even now, it paints the road in pale silver, offering light to anyone willing to walk by it. Faithful hearts do not boast. They shine quietly so that others may see the way. This is the deeper oil, the unseen reservoir that keeps the flame alive through all seasons. It is the peace that whispers, "Be still." The bridegroom comes in his time, and his time is always perfect. Oi. Breathe once more, slow and tender. Feel your heart become that lamp. Steady, open, ready. The foolish and the wise are one story now. One heart learning to remain awake in love. The door is not the end. The waiting is not a loss. It is the way faith breathes. The oil burns low but sure, and the night watches kindly as peace gathers around the lamps like a soft cloak. The sky hangs deep and endless above the quiet earth. A canopy of blue-black velvet scattered with stars that blink like patient sentinels. The night has stretched long, yet there is a sweetness in it now, a gentleness that comes only after surrender. The wise remain at rest, their lamps steady, their breathing slow. The foolish sit further down the road, quiet now, no longer rushing, only listening to the stillness they once feared. Between them lies the sacred hush of understanding, a silence that speaks louder than voices ever could. It tells the story that waiting is never wasted, that every pause is a place where faith is refined. The foolish begin to see that their running had not filled their jars. It had only emptied their peace. And in this calm, they finally find what oil truly means. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it fill you gently. Inhale light. Exhale the residue of hurry. Let the rhythm of your breath match the rhythm of the night. With each inhale, feel the flame inside steady itself, a small but living glow that asks only to be kept. The road that once separated the wise from the foolish begins to fade in the silver haze of starlight. It becomes a single path again. The same earth beneath all feet. The same quiet air surrounding all hearts. For the lesson has done its work. The division dissolving into awareness. Those who once forgot to prepare have now awakened to the love that waited for them all along. The wise gaze at their lamps. The flame small now but strong. It does not waver though the oil runs low. They know dawn will come soon, and that they do not need to keep the light forever, only until morning. Faith is not the absence of darkness. It is the courage to carry light within it. Patience is not the absence of desire. It is the trust that fulfillment has its own hour. A faint sound rises through the air. Not music, not footsteps, but something in between. Perhaps the wind brushing through reeds, or the heartbeat of the earth itself. The wise look toward it and smile, for they know the cry that once rang through the night has done its work. The bridegroom is near in a different way now, not walking a road of stone, but dwelling in every heart that learned to wait. Breathe again. Slow. Deeper this time. Let the stillness fill the spaces where worry once lived. Let the hands rest upon your chest, feeling the calm within the rhythm of your pulse. Every beat, every breath, is a lamp trimmed and tended. The foolish close their eyes, and for the first time, Their hearts grow quiet enough to feel peace. They understand that even in their late arrival, grace has found them. The door that closed before them was not the end. It was the beginning of wisdom. In that realization, a soft glow flickers in their lamps, faint at first, but growing steadier with every breath of surrender. The wise inside the feast lift their eyes toward heaven, sensing that something beautiful has happened beyond their walls. The bridegroom smiles, his gaze not bound by walls or doors. He sees both the light within and the light rekindled without. For love knows no boundary, and even the last flame, once awakened, belongs to the dawn. Another breath, slow and calm. Let the body sink into rest, the soul into gratitude. The story has turned now from lesson to peace. It no longer calls for readiness through effort, but through gentleness. Faith does not sleep. It rests. Love does not rush. It remains. Hope does not fade. It waits until morning. And the night, having taught what it came to teach, begins to soften at its edges. A pale hint of dawn gathers behind the hills, not yet light, but near enough to feel. The lamps flicker lower, not in weakness, but in fulfillment. The first whispers of dawn are beginning to stir, faint strokes of pale gold brushing the horizon, soft as a promise fulfilled. The night exhales its final breath. The stars dim one by one, and the earth wakes in quiet reverence. The lamps of the wise burn low now, their oil nearly gone, yet their light feels eternal. It has carried them through the waiting, through the silence, through the long deep hours of faith unseen. The foolish remain on the road, but their faces have changed. The fear has lifted, replaced by humility, by tenderness, by a newfound understanding that light must be tended from within. They watch the horizon too, and though they stand apart, the same dawn begins to touch their faces. The same warmth reaches for all who waited. For grace does not withhold itself from those who learn slowly. Take a slow breath now, deep and calm. Let it rise through you like morning light, touching every corner of your being. Let the exhale soften you, releasing the heaviness of effort, the weight of expectation. Let peace arrive quietly, as the dawn does, without demand, without rush. The parable breathes again in the silence of awakening. The 10 virgins have become symbols not of separation, but of transformation. The wise, steady in trust, and the foolish, softened by mercy. Both now understand the sacred rhythm of readiness. That waiting is not wasted time. It is worship in motion. The wise have learned that vigilance need not be rigid. It can be gentle, alive, peaceful. The foolish have learned that preparation is not about perfection. It is about love practiced over time. The oil they lacked was never just readiness. It was intimacy with the one who would come. It was the slow kindling of faith that keeps a heart awake even when eyes grow heavy. The first bird calls from the fig tree, a fragile sound breaking the long silence. The breeze shifts, carrying the scent of morning dew and pressed olives. The lamps flicker, their flames small now but proud, like souls who have fulfilled their purpose. They do not fear extinction, for dawn's arrival means they have succeeded. Their task was never to outshine the sun, only to guide the heart until it rose. Another breath, deeper this time. Feel the cool air move through you, fresh and clean. Let your thoughts drift like mist lifting from a valley. You are in the quiet space between night and morning, between effort and grace. This is the hour when everything becomes clear without needing to be explained. The bridegroom stands among the wise, his robe touched by the faint light of dawn. His eyes reflect both joy and sorrow, for he knows what each heart has learned tonight. He does not speak. His silence is full of kindness. He looks toward the road where the foolish kneel, and in that gaze, even distance dissolves. Love reaches across the space between them, unseen but unmistakable. The lesson of the night becomes a whisper through the morning air. Keep your lamp trimmed, but do not fear the waiting. Keep your oil close, but do not hoard it from others. Keep your heart awake, but let it rest in love's rhythm. The wise turn their faces toward the rising sun, their lamps lowering as dawn takes their place. The foolish do the same, their eyes wide with wonder at the mercy that still rises for them. The sky glows with a soft gold, a color that forgives, that renews, that says it is enough. Take one last breath in the night's quiet rhythm, and let it out into the light of morning. The waiting is over, yet the watchfulness remains, gentle, sacred, eternal. For readiness of heart is not a task to complete. It is a way of being. It is to live with a lamp inside that never goes dark, because its flame is fed by love itself. The parable closes here, not with an ending, but with a continuation. For every dawn is both an answer and a beginning. And in the calm of this new light, the wise and the once foolish are united, not in timing, but in understanding. The lamps grow still. The breeze carries the faint scent of morning blossoms, and peace fills the lane like a benediction. The lesson lingers, luminous, gentle, unending. The sun begins to rise behind the hills, slow, golden, tender. It spills light across the stones where the 10 once waited, touching the path that held their faith, their weariness, their hope. What was hidden in darkness now glows in quiet revelation. The story of waiting becomes the story of light itself. Inside the house, the lamps have burned low, their task complete. The bridegroom stands among the wise, his face radiant not with grandeur, but with gentleness. He looks at them as one might look at dear friends, weary yet faithful, quiet yet strong. Around him, the sound of soft laughter mingles with the music of morning birds. No feast now, only peace. No noise, only fulfillment. Outside, the foolish rise from where they had rested in the dust. Their lamps are small again, flickering, but alive. The dawn's warmth finds them. The same light that shines within the house now touches their faces. There is no rebuke in the light, only invitation. For though one door closed, another always opens when the heart learns its lesson. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel it rise like sunlight within you. Let it warm the chest, soften the shoulders, quiet the mind. Let the air carry peace to every place still shadowed by regret. Let it whisper, all things can begin again. The bridegroom turns toward the window, his gaze stretching beyond the walls. He sees the road, the olive trees, the faint figures of those still waiting. And in the silence between breaths, his heart reaches for them, not to call them to shame, but to call them home. For the kingdom of heaven is not a hall of separation. It is a circle of light that widens endlessly. The wise and the foolish, the ready and the late, all are invited. All are seen. What differs is only how soon the heart awakens to love's timing. And when it does, the distance vanishes like mist before dawn. Breathe again, gentle and steady. Let the breath remind you that time in heaven's rhythm is never wasted. Even what seems delayed becomes sacred when it teaches the heart to love deeply. Even what feels lost becomes light when it opens the soul to grace. The wise watch as the bridegroom steps toward the open door. He pauses, as if listening to the wind, then smiles. In that smile is the revelation of the story. Simple yet infinite. That readiness is not perfection. It is intimacy with peace. That faith is not urgency. It is trust that the light will come when it is meant to. The morning deepens, golden light spilling into every shadow. The olive leaves shine like tiny mirrors reflecting the sun. The lamps, once bright, now seem small beside the day. Yet they are not diminished. They have served their purpose, and now rest as witnesses to the truth that they once carried light through darkness. The foolish step closer to the threshold. No longer afraid. They know now that to keep watch is not a punishment but a privilege. Their hearts have been humbled, and in humility they find wisdom. They whisper quiet prayers, not for the door to open, but for their light to remain kindled until the next calling. And perhaps, just perhaps, the bridegroom hears them. For grace often walks the same road twice, and love always finds its way back to those who desire it. Take another breath, slow, full of warmth. Let the air remind you that readiness of heart is born anew each day. Let the sunlight in your imagination fall upon your face, gentle, forgiving, constant. You are the lamp. You are the oil. You are the flame kept alive by love. The dawn has come. The night has done its holy work. And the story now shifts from waiting for light to becoming light. For every heart that stays open, every soul that tends its flame, becomes a small reflection of the bridegroom's own radiance. The sun has risen fully now, its warmth resting on the stones where shadows once lingered. The garden hums with quiet life. Bees drift lazily among blossoms, and the air holds the scent of olive leaves warmed by morning. The lamps of the wise are set aside, their flames no longer needed in the brightness of day. Yet a trace of their glow remains within the hearts that tended them. The foolish stand in that same light, their eyes lifted, and what they see is not reproach, but redemption. The bridegroom steps beyond the doorway, the golden edge of morning framing his silhouette. His robe catches the wind, light weaving through fabric like grace finding its way through time. He does not speak loudly, yet his presence fills every space, reaching even to the road where those who had run now wait in stillness. There is no anger in his eyes, only sorrow turned to compassion. The kind of love that understands how easily the human heart forgets what it means to prepare. Take a deep breath, slow and grounding. Let the breath bring light into you. Let it flow through the body like oil through a lamp. With the exhale, release any heaviness that still clings to thought or memory. Let the stillness after the breath be wide, open, tender. The foolish bow their heads, tears softening the dust on their hands. They whisper, not for a second chance, but for understanding. And in the quiet that follows, they begin to feel it. The readiness they once sought outside of themselves is already forming within. It begins not with oil or flame, but with surrender. The wise watch silently from the threshold, their faces bathed in gold. They see what unfolds and smile gently, for they too were once unready in their own ways. Every soul learns at its own pace, and heaven waits with infinite patience. The lesson of the night has ripened into the mercy of morning. Faith, the kind that endures, is not a possession. It is a relationship with peace. It is built not in moments of triumph, but in the ordinary hours of trust when nothing seems to move. The wise have learned this by keeping their lamps through the dark. The foolish are learning it now, through humility and the tenderness that follows awakening. Breathe again, soft and long. Feel the breath enter as light, and leave as release. Let every exhale wash the soul clean, like water flowing over smooth stones. Let each inhale refill the lamp within you. The bridegroom looks upon them all, and his voice finally breaks the silence. It is not a command, not a scolding, but a tone of quiet joy. You have waited, and in your waiting, you have learned to love the light. Oi. The words move through the air like fragrance, invisible yet deeply felt. And though the foolish do not step inside, their hearts open wide enough to receive what they once sought elsewhere. The door between within and without grows thinner. For love cannot be contained by walls or doors. It reaches wherever readiness begins, even if it begins late. And in that reaching, the foolish are no longer outside. They are simply farther along the same journey. The morning continues to unfold, light deepening, shadows softening. The bridegroom's presence fills the space between silence and song. He turns once more toward the wise, blessing them with eyes that see beyond time. And then toward the foolish, blessing them too. For both have now seen what readiness truly means. It is not about being first. It is about being found. It is not about the flame that burns brightest, but the one that refuses to go out. Even in the late hour, love still arrives. Even in forgetfulness, grace still remembers. Take another deep breath. Long, slow, luminous. Let it settle into your chest like morning sun warming cool water. The waiting is over, the lesson complete, but the peace remains. And as the story shifts toward stillness, the heart begins to understand that the lamp within never truly goes dark. For once it has been lit by love, even the smallest ember can light the way again. The garden glows softly in the morning air, the sky wide and merciful, and every shadow now feels like a place where light is learning to rest. The story breathes, alive and tender, the parable unfolding into living truth. The morning ripens into full light, the sky vast and tender, brushed with pale gold and soft rose. The olive trees shimmer as the wind moves through them, whispering secrets from the night just past. Where the lamps once glowed, now only the fragrance of oil lingers in the air. Sweet, earthy, sacred. It feels like the hush that follows prayer, a silence so full it hums with presence. The bridegroom stands upon the threshold. The light behind him now so bright it crowns his silhouette like fire made gentle. The wise stand near. Their faces peaceful, the lines of waiting smoothed away by joy. The foolish linger at a distance, not in shame, but in quiet wonder. For what they see now is not a closed door, but a lesson illuminated by compassion. Take a slow, deep breath. Let it move through you as softly as sunlight across stone. Inhale peace. Exhale regret. Inhale hope. Exhale the remnants of striving. Let the body grow light, unburdened, still. The closed door glows in the sunlight, no longer an emblem of separation, but of invitation. It stands between moments, not between people. It marks the end of one kind of waiting, and the beginning of another. For even inside the house of joy, there are new dawns to await, new nights to endure, new lamps to keep trimmed. The bridegroom turns his gaze toward the foolish still standing in the road. His eyes are deep with tenderness, and when he speaks, the air itself seems to listen. Every heart that seeks light will find it, and every soul that learns to wait in love will know me when I come. Oi. The words drift outward, gentle, steady, like the rhythm of breathing itself. And the foolish weep quietly, not from sorrow, but from release. The wise bow their heads, for they understand that this mercy belongs to all. Their lamps have burned out, but their hearts now glow with something brighter. They realize that readiness is not something one achieves. It is something one allows. It is not about the oil in the jar. It is about the openness of the soul to receive light whenever it arrives. Breathe again, soft and unhurried. Feel the warmth of morning settle deeper into you. Let the breath become a prayer of gratitude for all that has been revealed. Let the stillness that follows feel like home. The sound of the feast quiets. The music now only a memory woven into air. The bridegroom steps down from the threshold, and the sunlight seems to follow him. He walks toward the road, where the foolish still kneel in humility. He does not pass them by. He pauses, placing his hand upon one of their shoulders. And in that touch, the meaning of the parable shifts forever. The closed door was never meant to divide. It was meant to awaken, to show that love is not lost in delay. It is found in the desire to remain. The bridegroom's touch is forgiveness made visible, tenderness made truth. The foolish lift their eyes, and though they see no grand gesture, they feel peace enter like sunlight through a crack in the wall. The wise inside the house see it too, and they begin to sing again, softly this time, a hymn not of victory, but of understanding. Their voices carry through the open air, blending with the breeze, echoing the same refrain the heart has always known. Be ready, not in fear, but in love. Be awake, not in worry, but in wonder. Another breath, long, deep, steady. Let it fill the space within. Let it find the corners that still ache with effort. Let the exhale smooth them with grace. This is the rhythm of readiness, the breathing of faith itself. The bridegroom lifts his gaze toward the rising sun, his eyes filled with both joy and tears. And in that light, both the wise and the foolish are one, two reflections in the same truth. For in the end, readiness is not measured by perfect timing, but by a heart willing to be lit again. The lamps rest on the stones, their clay warm from the sun. The air shimmers softly, as if heaven itself breathes nearby. And the story, full of grace, prepares to turn toward its quietest revelation. The light of morning deepens, pouring over the land like liquid gold, flowing through the olive branches, tracing every stone and petal with warmth. The air hums with quiet life. Bees circle lazily above blossoms. Doves coo softly in the distance. The world that had held its breath through the long night now exhales in peace. It is as though creation itself understands. The waiting was not wasted. The light was worth the stillness. The bridegroom stands with both groups now, the wise and the once foolish, no longer divided by timing or readiness. The lamps lie at their feet, the oil jars empty but gleaming in the sunlight. All that remains is light, not from flame, but from faces softened by understanding. He speaks again, his voice low, yet it fills the morning like the tide fills the shore. I never sought perfection, only presence. I never asked for brilliance, only faith that waits in love. For the heart that stays awake is already mine. The words move through the air like music that does not end. They settle into soil, into stone, into soul. The wise bow their heads in gratitude. The foolish lift theirs in hope. All of them changed. All of them touched by mercy that does not measure worth by success. Take a slow breath. Let it be long. Let it be kind. Feel it rise through you like sunlight across water. Let it warm the places that still remember the night. Let it whisper, "You are seen. You are known. You are loved." For this is the deeper revelation, the heart of the parable. To be known by the bridegroom is not to be flawless. It is to be real. It is to have carried both readiness and forgetfulness, faith and fear, and still be held by love that will not let go. He knows each soul as it truly is. The trembling flame, the weary hands, the eyes that have watched too long. And still he calls each one beloved. Inside the house the light shifts through the open windows. Dust motes dancing in golden shafts. The feast has quieted to murmurs of gratitude, to the sound of hearts finally at rest. Outside, the foolish and the wise sit side by side on the steps. The boundary gone. They share the same air, the same warmth, the same silence. No need for apology. No need for explanation. The night has already spoken all it needed to say. Another breath. Slow. Peaceful. Inhale forgiveness. Exhale striving. Let every breath remind you. There is no distance between you and love. The door that once closed was only ever in the mind. The bridegroom kneels to lift one of the extinguished lamps. He runs his thumb over its edge, leaving a small streak of gold dust from his hand. Then he sets it upon the stone wall, where the morning sun catches it and turns it into something radiant. Light no longer needs flame, for love has taken its place. This is what it means to be known by the bridegroom. It is to be seen even when hidden, to be loved even when late, to be chosen even when uncertain. It is to discover that readiness was never about performance, but about belonging. The oil and the flame were symbols of something deeper, something eternal. The heart that stays soft, the soul that remembers kindness, the spirit that chooses trust even when weary. That is the lamp that never goes out. Breathe once more, deeply, gently. Let the warmth of this moment settle over you like sunlight through open curtains. You are not waiting alone. You are already held within the light you seek. And when love calls your name, it will not ask for perfection. It will whisper only, "I know you." The story begins to quiet now. The revelation complete but still echoing. The road lies calm. The lamps rest. And the hearts that once strained now rest in grace. All is known. And all is loved. The day has grown bright and still. The kind of stillness that follows understanding. The air carries warmth that feels almost weightless, soft as breath on skin. The world has settled into a quiet harmony, light resting on stone, wind curling through olive branches, peace lingering like the scent of morning bread. The waiting is over. Yet the lesson continues to unfold like a slow dawn inside the heart. The bridegroom remains among them, not hurried to leave, not distant. His presence is calm, patient, the very image of love that has no urgency. Around him the wise and the once foolish sit together on the ground. Their lamps cold now, but their hearts warm with new understanding. There is no shame, No pride. Only peace that stretches wide enough to hold both readiness and regret. Take a long, gentle breath. Let the air rise through you like golden light filling an empty vessel. Let the exhale move slowly, loosening the body, easing the mind. Let everything within you grow still, as if the world itself were pausing to listen. In this stillness, the meaning of the parable unfolds quietly. It was never about lamps alone, never about oil alone. It was about the posture of the soul, the way it leans toward love even in the dark. The wise kept watch because their hearts were awake, their trust alive. The foolish learned through loss, but even that loss became a door to wisdom. The bridegroom speaks again, his tone a whisper carried on the wind. The lamp of faith is not a task, it is a companionship. Keep it near, let it warm you, and share its glow when the night returns. For darkness will come again, but so will I. Oi. His words ripple through the air, settling into every heart like seeds carried by the breeze. The wise smile, the foolish weep softly, and the sound of both becomes one prayer. Another breath now, slow, calm. Feel the chest lift and fall, a tide of stillness moving through you. Each breath a reminder that peace requires no striving. It arrives when the soul is quiet enough to hear the faint hum of eternity. The bridegroom looks upon the lamps resting on the stones. He lifts one, empty but shining in the sunlight. This, he says, is the lesson written in lamplight. The oil is faith, the flame is love, and both are gifts that must be tended but never possessed. He sets it down again, and as he does, the light from the sun catches its curve, making it glow as if filled once more. The wise look upon it and nod. The foolish gaze and understand. Every act of patience, every choice to stay kind when the world is weary, every moment of prayer whispered through tears, all of it is oil stored in unseen jars. All of it is readiness of heart. The sound of the feast fades, leaving only birdsong and breeze. The bridegroom turns toward the fields, his robe brushing the grass, light spilling around his steps. He does not vanish. He simply walks onward, and those who love him know he will return whenever hearts grow still enough to see him again. Another deep breath, slow and sweet. Let gratitude settle within you like calm water finding its level. The night has taught, the dawn has revealed, and now the day rests in peace. The parable no longer feels like a story told long ago. It feels like a living rhythm within every soul that waits with love. Readiness is no longer effort. It is surrender. Faith is no longer striving. It is resting in what already holds you. And love, quiet and constant, becomes the eternal oil that never runs dry. The olive branches sway gently above the road, sunlight dappling through leaves, the shadows soft and forgiving. Every sound seems slower, kinder, like the world itself has remembered how to breathe. This is the holy calm after revelation, the stillness where peace takes root. The light of day has mellowed now, soft and golden, spilling through the branches as though heaven itself were pouring kindness upon the earth. The feast inside the house has quieted to murmurs, gentle laughter, the clink of clay cups, the sighs of hearts at rest. Outside, the olive trees shimmer with slow rhythm, their leaves whispering secrets to the wind. The wise and the once foolish sit together beneath them, and silence becomes their shared language. The long night feels far away, yet its memory lingers tenderly in the air. Each of them carries a piece of it still, the hush of waiting, the ache of uncertainty, the tremble of flame against darkness. But those memories no longer sting. They have turned into something gentle, something holy. Waiting has become worship. Watchfulness has become rest. Take a long breath, soft and deep. Inhale through the nose, letting air move down into the belly, slow as light spreading over calm water. Hold it for a heartbeat, then release through the lips. A sigh of peace, of surrender, of trust. Let each breath draw you further into stillness, until it feels like the world itself is breathing with you. The wise glance at their empty lamps and smile. They do not mourn the oil that was spent, for the flame has done its work. Every drop became light. Every flicker became faith made visible. Their readiness was not a burden. It was a gift. The steady rhythm of devotion that outlasted fear. The foolish gaze at the same lamps, and their smiles are small but true. They too have learned that love waits beyond mistake. Their hearts no longer carry regret, only resolve, and gratitude for a light that refused to give up on them. The bridegroom's words echo softly within them still. Keep the flame. Share the glow. I will come again. Another breath. Slower this time. Let it rise and fall like a tide that asks for nothing but presence. Let the body grow heavy with calm, the mind unclench, the soul loosen its hold on time. In this stillness, the lesson breathes itself into being. Faith is not loud, it whispers. Readiness is not restless, it waits without fear. Love is not fleeting, it lingers. Patient, eternal. The night taught them these truths, but the day teaches them how to rest in them. They close their eyes, and for a moment, the sound of the feast fades entirely. All that remains is the rustle of leaves, the hum of bees, the slow rhythm of the wind moving through grass. The world has become a sanctuary, a living psalm of gratitude and grace. The foolish no longer feel outside the door. The wise no longer guard their light. All are one in peace. Breathe again, in and out. Let the stillness deepen, like cool water settling in a clay bowl. You are here, in the sacred quiet after revelation. There is nothing left to earn, only light to receive. The bridegroom's presence lingers, unseen but near, not in the sound of footsteps, but in the warmth of air, the rhythm of heartbeats, the gentle stillness that feels like being held. His promise is no longer distant. It has become the air they breathe. The olive leaves shimmer above, catching the sunlight, each one like a small flame that never fades. And beneath their shade, hearts that once trembled now rest easy, carried by love that neither slumbers nor forgets. Another breath, deeper now. Let peace fill you until it has nowhere else to go. Let every thought grow light, every care soften into surrender. You are the lamp now, and the oil, and the light. The world around you glows, not from the sun alone, but from the quiet joy of souls who have learned how to wait well. They no longer look toward the horizon, for they have discovered that the bridegroom was never far. He was in the watching, the waiting, the breathing, the stillness. The afternoon drifts into a deeper stillness, sunlight thick and golden, folding over the land like a warm shawl. The shadows stretch long across the road where the 10 once waited, soft shapes that no longer carry tension or haste. The air hums gently, filled with bees and birds, the slow heartbeat of the earth returning to rest. And within this peace, the lesson of the lamps continues to glow, not in fire, but in memory. The wise and the once foolish sit together beneath the olive trees, their backs against rough bark, their faces tilted toward the light. They speak little, for there is nothing left to explain. Words are too small for what their hearts now know. Between them flows an invisible current, the quiet understanding of souls that have waited and been found. Take a soft, deep breath, gentle and slow. Let the air move like oil through the body, easing the shoulders, lengthening the breath. Hold it for a moment, then let it go, smooth and unforced. Let the silence that follows become a sanctuary inside you. For this is the season of fullness, the moment after revelation when everything settles into harmony. The oil that once burned in the lamps is not gone. It has become part of them. It lives now in the calm of their gaze, in the steadiness of their breath, in the peace that hums beneath their ribs. Faith once poured out has returned as rest. The foolish touch the empty jars beside them and smile softly. They understand now that what seemed failure was only a lesson written in another language. Their hearts, once frantic, have become still as mourning ponds. And in that stillness, new oil begins to form, unseen but real, not gathered from markets or borrowed from others, but pressed from the fruit of grace itself. The wise look upon them and see not error, but awakening. They remember their own nights of doubt, their own seasons of emptiness. They know that every soul must learn readiness in its own rhythm. And they feel gratitude that mercy has written them all into the same story. Another breath now. Long. Calm. Complete. Inhale patience. Exhale striving. Let the air remind you that love's timing is perfect, even when it feels late. Let it whisper through the body. Peace is the oil that never runs dry. The bridegroom has gone within, yet his nearness lingers like perfume in the air. He is present in the rustle of the olive branches, in the softness of light on the stones. He is felt in the way the heart no longer fears the dark. For once the flame has burned within, it leaves its warmth forever. The wise close their eyes and drift toward rest, their breathing slow and deep. The foolish rest too, heads bowed upon folded arms, their faces calm. The division of night has been erased by the gentleness of day. They are no longer two groups, but one garden, one peace, one shared breath beneath heaven's gaze. The lamps lie silent on the earth, their clay warm to the touch, the oil inside them gone, yet the light they once carried still visible in memory. Every flicker, every tremble of flame has become part of this quiet afternoon. It was never wasted. Every moment of waiting turned into worship. Breathe once more, slowly. Let your breath mirror the rhythm of the leaves above, swaying, steady, alive. Feel the warmth of the sun seep into your skin, the same warmth that once shone upon the wise, upon the foolish, upon all who have ever waited for light. This warmth is the promise, the proof that no flame truly dies. It only changes form. The oil that once burned in their lamps now lives in the stillness, in the air, in the love that remains. It is the oil of remembrance, of gentleness, of the soul that trusts even when it cannot see. It is the oil that keeps the lamp within from ever growing cold. The day drifts on, silent, luminous, eternal. And the hearts that once trembled now shine without flame, radiant with peace that cannot be lost. The sun leans low toward the horizon now, its light thick and honeyed, gliding over the olive grove in waves of soft gold. The day exhales its warmth, and the world grows quiet again. not with sleep, but with deep contentment. The birds sing slower. The air hums with the low rhythm of crickets awakening for evening, and the shadows stretch long like gentle arms across the road. Peace has settled into everything, into every stone and branch, into every breath of those who waited. The wise and the once foolish remain beneath the trees, their eyes half closed, their bodies at ease. The waiting that once demanded effort has become a kind of worship, a stillness that no longer asks for anything. Their lamps rest beside them, empty but holy, relics of trust that has fulfilled its purpose. And as the sun begins to lower, each heart glows with its own quiet light. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel it slide through you like warm oil, soothing the chest, loosening the jaw, quieting the mind. Hold it gently for a moment, then release, unhurried, like light spilling across water. Let the space after the breath stretch wide and calm. There is nothing to do, nothing to fix, only to be. The olive leaves shimmer as the wind passes through, small lanterns of silver and green. The world feels alive with memory, as though the earth itself remembers the patience of the night. The foolish lift their faces to the fading sun, and within them something new takes root. Not the frantic will to prepare, but a calm devotion that will outlast every darkness. The wise watch them with soft smiles, recognizing in their faces the same grace that once awakened their own. And together, they understand the mystery at last. That readiness was never about being first to arrive. It was about never closing the heart. That watchfulness was not about fear of missing, but about love refusing to sleep. That faith, real and steady, burns not through effort but through surrender. Another breath, long and kind. Inhale stillness. Exhale gratitude. Let each breath become a small act of devotion, a trimming of the inner wick. The flame inside you may be unseen, but it lives. It listens. It knows when to shine. The bridegroom's words linger still in the air, carried by the wind that moves through the grove. Every rustle of leaves sounds like a promise kept. Every beam of fading light feels like a touch of remembrance. He has not gone far. His presence now fills the space within them. Wherever peace is kept, wherever love stays awake, he abides. The wise close their eyes and rest their palms over their hearts. The foolish do the same, their movements mirroring one another. Slow, reverent. Their breaths join in rhythm, rising and falling like waves upon a calm sea. 10 souls breathing as one, their differences washed away by grace. The light of evening ripples over them, soft as silk. The olive branches cast moving shadows upon their faces. patterns like water, like prayer. Somewhere a bell rings in the distance, a sound so faint it feels more dream than echo. But it carries meaning, a call to rest, a call to peace. Another slow breath, steady, full. Let it fill the chest and then melt away. Feel the day quiet inside you, every thought unclenching, every worry finding a place to lie down. You are part of this stillness now, part of the rhythm that waits without fear. The night will come again, as it always does. But those who have learned this kind of peace will not be afraid of it. Their lamps may burn low, but the oil of their hearts will remain. It is the oil that never runs dry, the light that never leaves. For once the heart has been taught to keep watch in love, the flame cannot die. The grove grows dim, the sky turns lavender and rose, and all around, an invisible glow rises, not from the lamps, but from the hearts of those who rest beneath the trees. The world breathes with them, steady, quiet, alive with grace. Evening gathers softly once more, the sun slipping behind the hills, leaving threads of amber and rose across the sky. The air cools, carrying the faint perfume of the day's last light mingled with the sweetness of olive leaves and earth. A hush falls over the grove, not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of completion. The world exhales, and everything rests in the quiet rhythm of peace fulfilled. The wise and the once foolish remain where they are, unmoving, wrapped in the still glow of understanding. The lamps beside them are dark now, yet the peace they carry is brighter than flame. The long night, the call, the waiting, the dawn, all of it has folded together into one tender truth. The purpose of the lamp was never the flame alone. It was the faith that tended it. Take a deep, slow breath. Let it move through you like cool evening wind drifting over calm water. Let the chest rise and fall. Let the breath soften the heart, loosen the last knots of striving. Each inhale brings calm, each exhale carries release. The bridegroom's voice lingers like a song remembered, a melody that hums quietly through the heart. He had spoken of readiness, but his words were never of command, only of communion. He asked them not to fear the dark, but to bring light into it. And now, even as night approaches again, they understand. The true light was never in their hands. It was in their hearts all along. The foolish look down at their lamps, and no longer feel shame. They trace the cracks in the clay with gentle fingers, knowing these vessels once carried their learning. The wise see them do this, and smile softly, for they too have been cracked and mended by grace. The sunlight fades, but between them a glow remains. Invisible, holy, alive. Another slow breath, deeper this time. Feel it gather in your chest, warm and steady. Let it remind you that readiness of heart is eternal. It does not flicker with circumstance. Even when life grows dim, the oil of faith endures quietly beneath the surface. The grove hums with twilight sound, crickets tuning their evening song, wind weaving through the branches like gentle music. The world itself seems to breathe in harmony with those who wait. The day and the night are no longer opposites, only partners in the dance of trust. Light giving way to shadow, shadow returning to light. The rhythm of creation teaching that faith is not about holding the sun, but remembering it always returns. The wise rest their hands in their laps, palms open, ready to receive nothing and everything. The foolish mirror them, and their posture becomes prayer. They no longer wait for arrival. They rest in presence. They no longer listen for footsteps, for they feel the nearness of love in every breath. Breathe again, long, gentle, true. Let the exhale lengthen. Let the body soften further into stillness. This is the kind of waiting that is not anxious, but sacred. This is the readiness that becomes worship. Above them the first star appears, clear, patient, unblinking. One by one others follow, scattered across the sky like tiny lamps relit by unseen hands. The wise tilt their faces upward. The foolish do the same. And together they smile. Each star is a reminder. Every light in the heavens a reflection of their own journey. For faith kept in darkness always returns as brightness somewhere else. Another breath. Slow. Complete. Let gratitude fill the space where words would be. You have waited. You have learned. You have rested. The lamp may no longer burn, but the light remains within you. The oil has become peace, and the peace has become you. The grove deepens into blue. The sky gathers its stars, and the story draws near its final quiet. What began as waiting ends as peace. What began as watching ends as trust. And the hearts that once trembled now shine, steady, restful, eternal. Night has come again. Gentle, vast, and kind. The last breath of sunset has faded from the horizon, leaving a soft veil of indigo over the olive grove. The air is cool and sweet, carrying the faint scent of the day that has passed. Warm earth, pressed oil, the whisper of leaves that still remember the light. The world seems to pause between heartbeats, not in waiting, but in worship. The wise and the once foolish rest side by side now, their faces turned toward the stars. The lamps that once burned beside them lie quiet, their work complete. No one speaks, for there is nothing left to say. All that needs to be known has settled inside each heart like oil in still water. Take a slow, unhurried breath. Let the air move through you, soft as night wind across the hills. Let the rise of the chest remind you that peace is not far away. It is within the motion of every breath. Let the exhale carry away the last thought of striving, the last trace of need. You are safe here. You are known. You are loved. The bridegroom's presence lingers still, unseen but certain. He moves through the quiet like a fragrance, like music too soft to hear yet impossible to forget. His promise lives in the pulse of the earth, in the glow of the stars, in the rhythm of the soul that trusts without seeing. He has not left them. He has simply become everything around them. The wise feel it first, the warmth spreading through their bodies like light returning after dusk. Then the foolish feel it too, a calm deeper than sleep, a knowing that no door can close against grace. Their hearts beat in unison, slow, steady, each one a small lamp burning in the vastness of night. Another breath, slower still. Let it deepen. Let it gather the whole world into stillness. The oil of faith now lives in every inhale, the flame of love in every exhale. Nothing more is needed. Nothing more is missing. The olive trees sway gently in the moonlight, their branches bending as if in prayer. The stars above burn clear and patient, each one a reflection of the eternal flame that no darkness can extinguish. The story of the 10 virgins has become the story of every heart that learns to keep its light alive. To wait not in fear, but in love. To watch not for signs, but for presence. To rest knowing that the bridegroom always comes, in his time, in his way, in peace. Breathe once more, deeply, tenderly. Let the night cradle you like a promise kept. The waiting is no longer heavy. It has become rest. The readiness no longer effort. It has become peace. And the peace, unbroken, eternal, becomes light that will never fade. Somewhere far off, a dove coos in the dark, and the wind sighs through the branches like a benediction. The world is quiet. The soul is luminous. The story complete. The lamps of the heart glow softly in the unseen kingdom, and the voice of love whispers through the stillness. The bridegroom comes, and all is peace. Rest now, in the calm that faith has built. Let the night hold you. Let the light within you remain. The journey has brought you home. Say these words softly before sleep. The light is within me, and it will never go out. Good night. Rest in the peace of the one who never leaves. And let your lamp burn quietly in his eternal dawn.